Congratulations on your 10th anniversary. Currently here in Hangzhou, China. It's very hot. First time really doing a video, so hopefully it works out okay. Let's get started.
Tom here from London.
Ryan here from Bangalore, India.
My name is George Akotis. I live in Cyprus.
My name is Christoph Fatui, and I'm from Denmark. My favorite doc is the Final Fantasy XIV doc.
I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan.
It is a beautiful telling of the whole journey that Final Fantasy went through.
It started with Rocket League, one of the first videos, but ever since I've been hooked and following Noclip.
One of my favorite pieces that you've done is on Outer Wilds, because that is one of my favorite games of all time.
Noclip is just one of those channels that consistently surprises me every time you guys come out with a video. The range of coverage from indie to AAA and everything in between is just super important.
I feel like my favorite documentary that you guys have done is probably the history of Grand Theft Auto, Lemmings, and DMA design. I really like how they talk about how the cops chasing the player and running into him was actually a bug and like this happy accident that like became like what's so great about all of those games.
Without Noclip, I'd never discovered and enjoyed countless hours on Dwarf Fortress. Listened to Josh Sawyer talk about European history for Pentiment. Heard about the unfortunate human cost behind Telltale. Learnt about the hillbillies of the GTA online community. I could list every Noclip documentary produced, as each brings something different, something unique to the gaming narrative.
Hey, it's Tim Robinson from Chicago. My favorite Noclip video is probably Jeremy's Dust 2 video. I grew up playing a lot of Counter-Strike. It was a huge part of my childhood. Him doing that video just felt like Jeremy coming out of the woods and doing a documentary on home for me.
I discovered Noclip via German games media of all places, where someone in an article had a little hint, a little note about your Witcher 3 documentary, which I just gobbled up afterwards. One of my favorite games, one of my favorite documentaries by Noclip.
I found Noclip at a time after, starting a family when my kids were little, at a time when I was rediscovering my love for games as an adult.
Hello, my name is Silverstreak, or Silver, and I reside in America's belly button, also known as Kansas. My favorite Noclip projects over the years has been both Legacy of Kain and Final Fantasy XIV for the same reason. They cover two very troubled development cycles that end up being successes in most ways.
It's really hard to choose what is the best documentary. There's over 100 of them. They cast a vast wide net.
My favorite doc is either Fallout 76 or Hades.
I started watching Noclip when the YouTube algorithm took me there from a video game essay binge watching session, and I stumbled into the Developing Hell series on Hades.
I'd say my favorite one is the Hades documentary.
The way that it was from A to Z, basically, you were with them in the office.
I do feel like that specific piece of work caught lightning in a bottle for so many reasons.
Plus, you can physically hold it, and what's not to love about physical media?
I think my favorite one must have been the CD Projekt Red videos.
Bethesda Game Studios, I love those games, so that was special.
I love what you do to really show the humanity behind the people that make games.
But what got me to stay, what got me to truly stay, were the myriad of indie developer interviews and AAA studio interviews, including amazing immersive sims like Dishonored.
Also enjoy the smaller videos about the indie games, stuff like FTL, Into the Breach.
Probably wouldn't have played Spelunky, Frog Fractions, or The Witness had it not been for those videos.
Death's Door is one of them. That was the first time that Jeremy was in front of camera, I think, and I love Jeremy. I also love the Demon's Souls documentary.
And my favorite Noclip project was the making of Horizon Zero Dawn, because I was working at Guerrilla at the time when you folks came by to record it.
For the Forgotten City, how a single developer took a leap of faith, but was only able to transform his Skyrim mod into what it is today because of the people he found to help him out along the way.
Hello, my name is Mohammed Hashim from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Favorite Noclip project is the Crewcast itself, specifically the end of year Game of the Year awards you guys make. Those are really fun and creative, and I look forward to them every year.
Doom 2016, oh my goodness, what an incredible documentary.
I think there's a dedication to not imposing upon the style that's naturally there in the subject, and that itself feels like such a strong style. I feel like I can associate that with Noclip. They can just show B-roll of a place that someone lives, and it will earnestly make me think, oh, I live in a place. And suddenly the act of making video games feels much more human and tangible.
I've been supporting Noclip since launch, as behind the scenes of game development is rarely shown. And it's always from a limited point of view rather than trying to cover both the highs and lows of each game's development. Noclip doesn't do that. Noclip has shown everything that it can, whenever it can.
Hi, my name's Travis Vizanski from Denver, Colorado, and my favorite Noclip project was Astroneer. So I found the game a while back before its 1.0 release and just really fell in love with it. And sometime after that, I came across Noclip's documentary of the game, and I learned about the very real human story behind its development. And that just gave me another level of appreciation, understanding of what that game meant as a piece of art and kind of a tribute to a friend who the team lost, and maybe using this game's development as a way to process grief.
Being able to share in the stories of these people that make these games and their passion and their struggle was a big reason of why I wanted to support Noclip, and it still is.
My favorite Noclip project is the documentary on NHL 94.
One that I wasn't expecting to like, because I really have no interest in those games, but it was really fascinating, and it changed my perspective of like sports and sports as games.
I decided to support Noclip because, for me, nowhere honours the art of game development quite like the documentaries of Noclip. And with the arrival of Noclip 2, which gives a platform to the smallest games as much as the platform to the biggest games, is doing fine work for video game journalism.
I've liked all of these and a lot of the work that you do because you put people at the front of video games development, and you show how difficult it is and what it takes out of people to be able to put these video games, this sort of form of art and entertainment together and held for people to see in the future. There might not be another opportunity to do it, and I think it's fantastic that you're doing it, and you're doing a terrific job at it.
Games development really has been this mysterious thing that you guys have demystified over the years. Studios that have been shut down, that got to get their story recorded and documented, and sort of preserving that piece of the history.
Preserving old footage and old games.
Without Noclip, these stories would have been lost to current and future generations. We wouldn't have seen how games came to fruition, the struggles, the enjoyments, the impact on people and communities.
And I do think that the independence of Noclip is kind of fundamental to the work, and allows for the kind of quality of what they publish, you know, on a really comparatively small budget and with a small team.
It was during COVID that Danny gave a shout out to us for more supporters, and that was the moment I realized I'd rather give my money and attention to independent creators instead of the big corporations and ads and stuff like that. It just feels like helping a group of people who are passionate about what we all love.
You are documenting history of video games and the way video games are made in a way that nobody else really is doing. You guys can fetch people I wouldn't have ever thought possible contributing with you guys, and the reason is because you have really like integrity and people respect that.
I just like what you do. I think that it's good to support these kind of endeavors, and I listen to the podcast every week, so I think it's only fair that I give you something in return.
For me as an aspiring game developer, it's just super inspirational, so I'm happy to support it. Here's to 10 more years, boys. Congrats.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Happy anniversary, and inshallah, I look forward to seeing what you guys cook up next.
So keep on going, keep on telling those stories, and we'll be with you all the way, Noclip.
I hope you all continue to do this for many years to come, and I will continue to be a supporter as long as I can.
Here's to another 10 years, maybe 20. Fuck it, let's do 30 until Danny's an old grandpa.
Can't believe that I signed up as a 20-something-year-old on the way to university, and here I'm sitting in a small house of my own with my daughter of 2 years sleeping upstairs. So yeah, time flies. Yeah, amazing work, guys. Like, please never stop.